Hi there, this is Chris with Peace of Mind Art and Crafts. And I'm just going to turn off Gayle Agostinelli's channel. I was watching one of her videos. And I would like to thank her for featuring some of my work in her Etsy shop, or in her Etsy shares that she does. A lot of you came over from Gayle's channel to join me, and I'm so glad you did. Today, I'm going to show you we're going to start, it'll probably be about a 2 or 3 part series on how to make one of the sewing books that I had gifted to Gayle. And this was the size that I gifted to her, with a slow stitch piece on the cover. And this one happens to be a pocket also, where you can put things in. Has a little scissors charm and ties with the bow. The ribbon is attached by a lace heart on the back, and the cover is made out of white quilted fabric. So I'll show you the inside of this one. This is the one we're gonna make together, and I'll also show you the smaller version of the sewing book that I make. Okay, so let's look. This good. Like I said, this cover, you can put anything in there that you might want. Maybe thread if you're a slow stitcher or embroiderer. You can also use this book for, a quilt to give as a gift, or if you are a quilter, or just do regular sewing, dress sewing, clothes sewing. Whatever kind of sewing that you do, hand sewing. Okay, and you open it up, and there's a pocket in the front where you can put different cards. This is would be good for putting sewing notes on. And then I did a little card with some thread wrapped around it. You can do other colors on there, if you want to keep that for just, to have some extra, like black and white, and maybe tan, or just to have some extra threads in there that you might need, so you don't have to go searching for them every time you need to do a button or something like that. And here is a butterfly with some with a fabric ribbon down the side with some pins. Here's a handmade tag that you could sew to something. Some needles. This book, when I sell them on my Etsy, they do come with what I'm showing you here. So, as a matter of fact, this book has been sold already, and will be on its way to its new owner soon. Here's a little pocket made out of fabric. Here's a card, German card. And you can also, like, maybe if you're a slow stitcher, stash some pieces of fabric or lace in there. Another card. Places for pins. Some safety pins. If you're a quilter, you might want to put some quilting pins. Tape measure. If you need just to do a quick measurement of, within 6 inches, you could use that. Each book comes with a pair of these little folding scissors. I'll show you how these work, if I can figure it out. Oh, wait, they have to go like that. And then they come down. And this one comes down. And that's how they fold up. These aren't the greatest scissors, and you probably want to use your own. You might even want to put your own in here if you travel and want to take this with you. For instance, to a retreat or something. And this particular book has a little notepad. I just used some paper that I had that said taking it one stitch at a time. Here's a Here's a pin that I saw on someone's channel where they just took a flower and made that the pin head. Thought that was pretty. Some more places. Here's some. This is a quilting pin that I took and I put some beads on, kind of for decoration. Here's some of they included some of the pins with buttons on the top. I find these pins, I found these at Joann's, and they also work for the top of your glue, because they said stainless steel on the package, which is what you need for this, so that when the pin goes down in there, it does not rust. So if you want to use these for your, they are kind of pricey, but if you use a coupon at Joann's, you could get some of those. And this is the last page. Has a pocket and a little card. Okay, and this one is 5x7 size. I will be adding more of these within a couple of weeks to my Etsy shop for sale. Okay, here's the smaller version, and it is made out of a fabric, kind of a Paris fabric that I had, and it is sewn to the back of it is I'll show you when I open it up, but anyway, this is the fabric that I used for the front. It's kind of a heavier canvas fabric. And I show you the front and back cover of this one. This one is 3.5 by 5, and it has various laces over the top. You can decorate the front covers of these any way you want. This one has, okay, let me show you. The very first page is actually sewn, the felt is sewn down to it so that it gives it more stability. Same thing on the back. The felt is sewn down to it. Okay, and I'll quickly flip through this one. Pins, needles, pins. Here's a little tape measure charm. Since the front of this was, and this used this fabric, it's kind of a Paris theme, so I used some ribbon. I'm out of this ribbon. I loved this stuff. I used it on everything. Some more pins and needles. And in the back has a little tape measure, plus it has a magnet that can clip to your, hold your place. Okay, so, like I said, this one also is sold. I better put the scissors back in here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make the first one, which is the 5x7. I start with a piece of white quilted fabric. You can use any kind of fabric that you want. I had this white quilted left over from a bedspread. I made a quilt for my niece, great niece, and it was like a double size, and the only size my niece could find to send me was a king size, so I had lots of this left over, which is really nice. So this is what the front cover of the 5x7 will be, at least for now until I run out of this. Okay, and I need to cut, I'll show you here what I'm going to do as far as the decorating the front. I have some of my spools of slow stitch rolls that you might have seen other videos where I made these. And we'll see if we can't find something that fits on the front cover of this. It could also go over to the back cover. Let's see how we do on that. Let me try this smaller piece first and see if I can find anything on here that I like. I do like this frog. This kind of makes a nice pocket up here. Let's see what this looks like. There's some birds. Okay, I'm going to keep this as a possibility, the frog. Let me see what I have on this one. I love making these slow stitch snippet rolls. Because then you can cut them off at the lengths that you like them to be. It's kind of pretty. Oh no. What do you think? To try to keep this you also could do this whole front cover with a slow stitch piece if you wanted to. Let's see. I gotta try everything, you know. I do have some of these slow stitch pieces already made on that are for sale on my Etsy shop. That's pretty. Actually, they're all pretty, really. I mean, I couldn't go wrong using any of them. Okay. This one would be pretty for the cover of, if I used it on the cover of one that I used that fabric to make the front cover. I like that. It's pretty, but not quite the colors that I want. It's also pretty. This I wouldn't want to cut, so I might be able to use it running around the back or something. Okay, so it's between the frog and this one. I'd have to cut this one off here so as to save this daisy here. Cut off some of that daisy, but that's all right. Oh, let's go with that. Okay. So on this, you just got to be brave. Okay, I had said I wanted to, let's try it right between these two rows of slow stitching. There is the possibility that your slow stitching could come apart a bit, but you can always glue it down on the back. And as a matter of fact, I will back this before I glue it down to the front cover. I will back it with a piece of paper to give it some stability and to keep things that I put in here from catching on those threads in the back. Okay, that one's cool too. That one would be cool just as a snippet on a page. I think that's supposed to be a zebra. I don't know. Okay, And then let's see on the other side what we got. I think I'll cut it right here. There we go. Okay, and when I sew my binding or my spine, I will sew it. I'll show you that in a minute. I don't want to throw too many things out on you at one time. But okay, so that is what I'll do for the. And I will back it, like I said, I'll back it with a piece of paper. I might as well do that now. It doesn't matter what kind. I'll just use some everything flying out at me. I'll just use some book page. I should have turned this over. I think I still can turn it over a bit. The top here. Careful not to cut the fabric. I feel fumbly today. I don't know why. Okay, so that should be enough to tack it down. And I'm going to use fabric tack to do that. I hope all of you are doing well. This is a Sunday that I'm filming. It's going to be a nice day. I think we're supposed to get some. I live in Colorado. I think we're supposed to get some rain / snow. We get a lot of snowstorms in April and May, and even into May. But of course, everything melts right away, so it's not really a big deal. Some of these snippets off. Kind of like that hanging down there. If you don't like all the strings, then you can cut them off. I figure whoever buys one of these, if they don't like the strings, then they can cut them off themselves. Just do a little trim. Okay, so I think that will work just fine as a pocket when we get the. What I'll do is I'll sew the pages in, and then we'll do some more to the cover at that point. And I might also, well, let's go ahead and plan to have some lace on this, so I can show you. So it can be sewn at the same time as the spine. Get some lace here. Okay, I don't know whether to use white lace or I like the white lace. I've got lots of the white. Let me see which one I want to use. There's another possibility. Okay. I don't know. I kind of think I might like the tan or the ecru better because it matches this, and I like it against the white. Why don't we do that? Why don't we put that on there? And since that will probably be, it'll be sewn into the take a little bit of this off. I want a little bit to hang over the bottom, but not really too much. Put my pin here. Okay, I should probably mark my center. So I'll mark the center with a pin. And this is to help me put my lace down. Okay. Now another thing I could do is I could cut this ruffly part off, but I don't think I will. I like the way it, I could stretch it out a bit, which is what I think I'll do. Just so it isn't quite so bulky on the front. Like that. And then when I sew this, I'll sew it into the binding. When I add I'll sew it into the spine when I add the pages in the middle. And we'll cover that later. Just kind of getting this. Gotta go ahead and use this clip to clip this on. Let's see. Like that. I got a lace that's kind of pretty. On this one I probably would. Okay, started back up again here. My film ran out. The camera stopped. So I was saying we cut this off. This piece of lace. And if we don't use it on the outside here, we may use it on the inside. It's pretty. I love making covers of things. I like making the journals also, but my favorite part is the covers. And so you will see, if you go to my Etsy shop, there's a link on my channel in the right hand corner to my Etsy shop, and there's a link on a lot of my videos also to get to my Etsy shop. But you'll find that I do make lots of covers, which if you don't like making the covers but you have lots of ideas for the inside, then you can purchase a cover there and then do your own journal. Okay, this is pretty. This is a stretch lace. Let's see. And this is white. It might contrast nicely with the not sure yet on those, so I might add some later to the sides here, which I can easily do after I sew the binding in. I keep saying the binding. I'm a quilter. After I sew the spine. What I'll do on the spine is, after I put the pages in, I'll show you one page here, just so you can get an idea of how easy or complicated this might be for you. You would be able to glue them in. I haven't really figured out a way to do that yet. But if you wanted to... Okay, so here would be the center. After I get all my pages assembled. And I'll show you this again when we get to that part. But just to give you a heads up, I'm going to stitch down through the center. And then I'm going to stitch 1/4 of an inch over on each side. So I'm going to make 3 lines. And what that does is it gives you a binding, a center that you can best see it on here. That looks like that. It gives you a little bit more fold over ability. See this? That's the 3 sewn lines down there. And that makes a nice, because you want to be able to have this fit, you know, however many you want in there. And while I've got this out here, I'm going to count the number of pages we've got. 1, 2, and these, I won't count these short pages. 3 pages on this side and 6 on this side, plus some more little small parts. Excuse me while I get a drink of water. Okay, so I'm going to want 3, and I'm going to use felt. I like felt because, especially for these sewing books, because you can very easily, you know, of course, put your pin right in there in it, or needles or whatever, and it works great for holding them in place. And when you take the pin or needle out, it doesn't leave holes punctured in the felt. It kind of recuperates. Okay, so I have this. I have made them this size. Like I said, the cover is 5 by 7 closed. So let's measure it. 10 by 7. 10 by 7 piece, so that when closed it's 5 by 7. So I want my piece of felt to be smaller, and you can make this bigger if you want. I happen to like this size. I think it's nice to have the border around here. It depends entirely on your taste. If you do the one that has, if you use a thinner fabric than this quilted, then what I would do is I would back it with another piece of fabric. It could be felt, it could be anything. That was the exact same size of the book if you're using a different fabric. This is thick enough though. So I'm going to make 3 pages this size. And I can use whatever color felt I want. I'm going to happen to use this size felt. I'm going to try to cut 2 at a time, but I probably won't be able to. And I used pinking shears. You don't have to, actually this felt will not unravel on the edges. That's another good reason to use it. Get my pins. And I have to take this apart if doing two at a time doesn't work. I just got my felt at Joann's. Or you could get them at, I think Michael's has them also. Just the felt squares. I don't use the real wool felt. You could if you have it and you want to use it. It's kind of pricey though. Okay. So let's... Well, it's a little bit more difficult than one layer, but it's coming along. Often when I'm cutting fabrics, I know I'm going to use the scraps for something, so I just go along here, cut the whole thing off, so that I have a nice long scrap here to use. Actually, I can use that in the book also, and I'll show you that later. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this one off. And like I said, you can use any color you want. I'm going to make one that has pink felt, and I kind of think that'll be pretty. And don't worry about getting these exactly even, unless you're a perfectionist, in which case you probably are not a crafter anyway. You're probably like a accountant or something. My husband always makes fun of me because I say, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. And, you know, with him, if something's not straight, he's like, it's not straight. It just really bothers him. But with me, it's just kind of artistic expression. And it's the way we work, right? Okay, so now I have my 3 larger pages. Okay, those 3 larger pages. Now let's put some other ones in between there, and I'll show you some of the things you can use for that. Where did I put that stuff? Oh, here we go. Okay. Here's some little squares we can use. Not necessarily to be put into the center and sewn down, but we can use those later. I like this. See how big this is. Yeah, I think that will fit nicely. Okay, if I wanted to, I can even unravel it a bit. I think this edge is okay. So should we have that be? Let's have that be this page here. Oops, sorry about my head in the way. Okay, now let's put another one of these down. And see, I think I want another color. You could put paper in here also as pages, but I'd recommend those more to use the papers to use for pockets. Okay, here's a color I want. I like this color. So I'm just going I'm just eyeballing this. And I'll do pinking on this one also. Now later on when I sew this together, which I will probably do off camera, mainly because I don't have my sewing machine set up so that I can film it. But it's very simple. It'll just be a very simple straight stitch down the middle first, and then go over 1/4 of an inch, and you can use your foot on your machine to measure that. Just put it up against the one down the center, and then go over 1/4 of an inch, and 1/4 of an inch on the other side. That, like I said, that just gives it more stability. And this could go up or down, however you want it to be. Let's try it that way. Let's see, let's put that look with the piece of lace. Okay, this is going to be the center piece, so I don't know how that would work. Well, let's just try it. And usually when you put your pages together and you bind them into the center of the book, you use those clips, which you can use on this. You could use the clips on this, but I recommend the pins are fine to pin it together, especially if you've got the bigger clipping pins like these buttons. And of course we'll need to put the cover on there. Get that measured up. Now we've already marked our center up here. What I could do is, let me get that pin out of the way of the center. Okay, so when I sew this in, I'll catch this lace, and then I can also, I can just leave that loose, or I can tack it down with some glue. This, I think I will, I don't know if I want to sew that in or not. I think I will. I think I'll sew, before I put this together, I think I'll sew this front pocket on. Of course, not sewing it at the top part here. So the next time we come together, I will have this sewn in the middle. Opens up like this. And then we'll have 3 pages on this side with a couple of pieces in there for decorating and putting things in. Pockets, we'll add pockets and we'll decorate it a little more. Thank you for joining me today. I wish you all peace of mind. I also thank you for anyone that purchased items recently on my Etsy shop. After Gayle showed in her Etsy views, she has a little segment that she does probably once a week where she very generously shares things that people on Etsy have made and sent to her. Most of them are digitals, which is great. Some of them are actual products, which I showed. I sent her some of my products, and she showed them, and wow, it really helped me a lot. Thanks, Gayle. So, once again, peace of mind. See you next time. Bye now.